Hey guys, today we are long dividing. So in your notebook, please put division at the top, and we are using the standard algorithm right here, standard algorithm of long division. So in your notes, make sure that you copy down this right here. The number inside the division sign is the dividend. The number outside is the divisor, and the number that you get as your answer is called the quotient. Pause the video and write that down. Okay, so now how do we long divide? If I have 351 and I want to divide it by 9, I need to make sure that I set it up like this. Okay, the 351 goes inside the division and divide by 9 goes on the outside. Okay, so now let's actually do it. Okay, so the first step, ask yourself, does 9 go into the first number 3? The answer is no. So I put a 0, and then I multiply 0 times 9, and I get 0. I subtract, and I'm left with 3. Bring down the next number. Now, does 9 go into 35? The answer is yes. It goes in 3 times, and 3 times 9 is 27. Now I'm going to subtract. I can't take 7 away from 5, so I regroup, and I think instead of 3 10s, I have 2 10s, and I think of this as a 15. 15 minus 7 gives me 8. Okay, bring down the 1. So now I think of this as an 81. 9 goes into 81 9 times, because 9 times 9 is 81. I subtract, and since I'm left with 0, I'm done. This is a terminating number because it ends with 0 and it doesn't go on and on forever. So I don't need this leading 0, so it's just 39 as my answer. Make sure you have this example written down in your notebook with number 1. All right, number 2, let's do this example. 31 does not go into 8. But it goes into 87, right? Bring down the 7. 31 goes into 87 2 times, which 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 3 is 6, so 62. Subtract, 7 minus 2 is 5. 8 minus 6 is 2. Bring down the 8, 258. Okay, now we've got to think about this. Think about it as a 3 and a 25 maybe instead, like 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24. So if it was a 3 and a 25, it would go in 8 times. So let's try that. If it doesn't end up working and we think there's more, then we can go again. So let's try 8. 8 times 1 is 8. 8 times 3 is 24. There is 10 left over. Now, since there's no more on the end, we could say this is 28 and 10 31s. We could say this is 28, remainder 10. Or we can keep going by placing a decimal point here and here, putting a 0 here, and extending the line. Okay? So we're going to bring a 0 down and think of it as 100. It goes into 31 goes into 100 3 times. 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times 3 is 9. 93. That would be 7. Bring down your 0. It goes into 70 2 times. 2 times 31 is 2, 62. Subtract and we get 8. Bring down my 0, it goes into 80, 2 times, that's still 62, but this time this is 8, you have to carry this, so this becomes 7, so 18. This number is going to be one of those numbers that goes on and on forever. This time it would be 5, and it's irrational. So if you start to see that happening, you want to choose this 28 and 10 31ths as your answer. Let's look at a couple more. Okay, see if you can do these two. Here's a hint. They're both terminating, which means they end, so no repeats. And and this one's already set up for you, so you need to make sure that you set up this one. I'll be back in just a second to show you what I did. Okay, you should have paused the video. 16 does not go into 3, but it goes into 31. So I don't even need to do this step where I put a 0 down and bring down the 3. I can just immediately start with the 31 as long as I know there's a 0 here. So when I do this one, 16 goes into 31 one time. Bring down your 16 and subtract. 31 minus 16, I regroup. This becomes a 2, this becomes an 11. So 11 minus 6 is 5, 2 minus 1 is 5, or is 1, excuse me. Bring down my 8. 158 divided by 16, it goes in 9 times. 9 times 6 gives me 54, so 4 here, 5 here. 9 times 1 is 9, plus 5 is 14. Subtract, and I'm left with 14 here. Okay, decimal point time, ladies and gentlemen. And we need to bring down a 0 and extend my line. Thinking 140 goes in 8 times. 8 times 16, use your green sheet if you need help, is 128. Subtract, and I'm left with 12. Another 0, bring it down. This time we know it's going to be 7, and 7 times 16 on my green sheet says 112. And I'm left with 8 because I regroup and I think of this as a 10, minus 2 is 8, and all of these are zeros. Bring down another 0. 16 goes into 80 perfectly 5 times, which gives me 80, and since it now zeroes out, I'm done. We don't need this leading 0, so it's just 19 and 875 thousandths. Okay, you should have rewritten B like this. 8 does not go into 70, but it goes into 76 9 times, and 9 times 8 is 72. Subtract and we get 4, bring down the 8. 8 goes into 48, how many times? Good, 6 times. 6 times 8 is 48, it zeroes out right away, and my answer is 96. Let's try one more to close up shop. 6,493 divided by 75. Let's first rewrite it. 75 does not go into 6. Good gravy boat. Sorry about that. And it does not go into 64. It goes into 649 though 8 times. Make sure the 8 goes above the 9 because it didn't go in here. It didn't go in here. It went in here. Makes sense? Okay, so these would both be zeros. So 8 times 75 gives us 600. Think about quarters and you're multiplying 75 cents times 8. It would be $6. So you get 49, bring down your 3. Okay, 493, and you're dividing by 75, that gives you 6, and 6 times 75 gives you 450. So you're left with 3 here, 43 here. Bring it down. So we know if we just got a 0 on the end, we have to have that decimal point too. So it goes in, 75 goes into 435 times because we just did 6 and that was 450, so 75 less than that would be 375. Let me extend this a little bit for us. So that gives us 55. Bring down another 0. Okay, that gives us 7 times, and 7 times 75 is 525. I'm left with 25. Bring down another 0. Whew, this is going on forever, right? 250 divided by 75 gives us 3. 3 times 75 gives us 225. Subtract, we get 25. Bring down my 0. That gives us 3. Do you see that the 3 really is going on forever? So if it's repeating, you always put it over the number that starts to repeat. So this would give us 225 again, which would give us 25, which would give us 250. It keeps going, the 3 on and on and on forever. And that's all I have. See you next time.